Yeah.
All right, hello and welcome to 48-hour art check round 18, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
18, which means that we've been doing it 3 times a week for about 6 weeks. And that's like not including the days that we've taken off. So we've been doing it for a while.
Yeah. I'm proud of us.
I am too. I really like this.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we will just hop right into it. Kaitlin, what have you done in the last 48 hours?
All right. So I have Adobe back. Yay. I did some freelance work, got some money, and went to buy it, and then found out I still have like the student version, which is awesome because I still am poor. But yeah, so I got to get back to designing, which I'm super happy about. I didn't realize how much I was missing it in my life. But yeah. So this is the basic layout of the logo that I'm working on for our podcast. It's going to be our little icon thing. Yeah, I'm just messing with it right now. I might add some more colors to it, but I was trying to blend. I was telling Kayla this already. I was trying to blend like my style of like the hand-drawn look with her style of the lines. And I hope that I did a good job with it.
I like it.
Working on it. So yeah.
I know, I like it. I saw it on accident and then decided to show it to me early, but I like it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
I think it mixes our two styles well.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So that's what I've been working on.
Cool. So my turn then.
Yep.
So everybody bear with me because my computer still does the weird thing where you're about to see the whole video. So it's showing my Illustrator, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The thing with the money.
Yes. So I have been at work on a couple of things. My boss wants me to create an animation that explains the concept of web hosting. And then another one, but I haven't started on that one yet. But this one is about web hosting. And basically it's about like you pay money and then you pay for a storage unit. And this is about what I've gotten done so far. It's not animated, but I've been working on like the logistics of it.
Mm-hmm.
You raise up the thing and it's a storage unit.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. So that's been what I've been up to with that. And then I am on a visual society thing for campus. I'm on the presidency. So I made an Instagram post for it and then a poster for it. So it's obviously the same thing, just spread out differently and spaced differently and all that stuff. And then I have some sketches to show. They're obviously very, very different. I like my little stick figure.
Yeah.
So it's for the animation that I'm a project manager for. Our character sketches are due tonight.
Oh, did you? Is it an animation now?
Did I say animation? It's not an animation.
Okay.
Nope.
I was about to say.
Nope.
Good luck.
Nope. It's a storybook. Thank you for correcting me. I have animation on my mind because I've been working on one.
Yeah.
I also always have animation on my mind. But yeah, so this is a little character. His name is Danny. And we all have to come up with different character sketches. And he will be a stick figure in my section because it's so freaking cute. Look at him, he's so happy.
No.
I didn't think that he was gonna be that cute as a stick figure. But then I did this one too, because I just wanted to like prove to people that I could draw and I wasn't wimping out by a stick figure. So I made that one. I don't know, maybe that'll make the cut. But basically Danny in every single dream sequence is wearing a blue hat, so this way he can change styles to match.
Oh, okay.
But he always has on his blue hat.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
Yeah, so that's why there's a blue hat on him both times. And I love the little stick figure guy. He looks Anyways. I'm like over here like, I want to be a professional graphic designer and my character is a stick figure. But I don't know. I like, because so my dream, sorry, this is like a little bit of a side tangent, but if anybody's curious, the dream that I'm creating is he goes into like an art dream. So like crayon towers and like
Oh, cool.
like painted clouds and like all this stuff. And so he's going to be a little stick figure, but he's going to be like exploring like this art town. I don't know. I'm
That's
excited
fun.
about it.
Yeah.
Because like the little stick figure can just like point to stuff and like talk about all the colors and stuff, because our target audience is 5 to 6 year olds.
Okay. There you go.
So yeah, so he becomes a little stick figure in my dream and points around. And,
Cute.
you know, yeah, he's a cute little guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, so what are your challenges?
So I know that we like just talked about this on Wednesday, and I was bragging about how like I write down all these ideas in my notebooks so that I never not have ideas. But I sat down with like brand new Adobe and I was like, heck yeah, I can do whatever I want. And then I was like, crap, what do I want? So yeah, kind of just, I feel like I don't have to start over because I was working on that animation for our art check. So I can work on that, but it was like kind of this feel, it was a little intimidating to like, I was feeling like I was starting over, and I don't think I don't have to feel like that. So it's reminding myself that I'm not starting over. Like I just get to do it again. So that was my biggest challenge.
Gotcha. Yeah. And plus now the animation might be changing.
Yeah. Now that we've got this little sketchbook.
I know. I'm so excited about this little sketchbook.
Yeah.
So my challenges, just mental health. It just gets in my way like so often and I don't realize it. And like, I don't know. It's gotten to the point where like I'm used to it and I can just like kind of like acknowledge like, oh, this is a bad mental health day, which is really nice because I wasn't at that point. I'd say really even like before this semester. I feel like I've become like a lot more like conscious of it in the past 3 days. But what happened? Sorry, can you hear the piano?
No.
Okay, piano just started playing and totally distracted me. But just something happened on Friday that kind of like got in my head a little bit, and my memory from like all of last week is just pretty much gone. And so it's like, are you freaking kidding me? Like my memory wasn't great still, but like I could remember more stuff. And so like now I just can't remember last week. And so it's a lot of catching up in school and meeting with teachers and trying to be like, hey, I actually have to do this stuff and I missed deadlines. So, but that should be figured out by Wednesday. Nothing too new. I don't know. I've been expecting actually a bit more of a challenge with the group projects that I'm in on and haven't really had those. I thought being a project manager, it's definitely hard and it's definitely not easy, but I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it is. Like, but I guess it also just like depends on your group.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, and my group is very self-sufficient in their own ways. And so it's just like, I just kind of have to come in and be like, hey, this is what we talked about. Don't forget your deadlines. Don't forget that this is due. And then everything happens. So, but we almost had our first hard deadline move. It was terrifying. So terrifying. Sorry, I'm just like going off on a side tangent, but when you have to move deadlines,
it's the worst.
Man, and we just sat there, we're like, okay, how do we not have to move this deadline? Like, what can we do? Yeah. And so like we basically created more deadlines for tonight. So that's what I'll be working. Oh, next 48. We'll just segue into the next 48.
Yeah.
So that's what I'll be working on tonight. Because we want our story done, like written by next Monday, so a week from today. So this way, the rest of the project is illustrations and layout and typography and all that stuff, but we want like the basic because you can't really illustrate the story until you have the story.
Yeah.
And so our story is going to be finished by Monday, and me and each member of the team we have to have our character sketches in by tonight, and then we have to have 10 different things for Danny to point out in our dream, because the target audience is 5 to 6 year olds. So he's going to be describing, colors and having a bunch of like fun words like wibbly wobbly and stuff like that. And does that make sense?
Yeah, I was just about to say, I can't think of his name. The guy that plays Ryan Howard on The Office.
Yeah.
He wrote a children's book, and it's by far, like, my children will have that book. It's one of my favorite. I can't remember his name, but BJ Novak. There we go.
Yes.
Got there. He wrote one that basically was all about how it was kind of like teaching kids that they have power, because like they were having the adult read this book, and this book is making the adult say all of these like crazy words. It's really cute, and you should look it up. There's a video of him reading it, and it's like the sweetest thing. So
yeah, that was like our last group meeting, was kind of like, okay, what's the direction that we want? What's our character's name? What's our target audience? Where do we want to go with all this stuff?
What's mature?
I know what that means. And I knew the answer.
As long as there is one.
There is one. Do I remember it? No. It's in the notes. It's in the notes.
It's all that matters.
Yes, and I'm not storytelling team lead, so it's not as bad that I don't remember it. But anyways, yeah. So I have those 10, that list of 10 due, and then probably about 5 homework assignments that I've missed. And I'm gonna keep on working on that animation. Probably actually start kind of animating it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to do perspective.
Yes.
It's so hard. Like those boxes that I showed.
Yeah.
Probably like at least 30 minutes a box. And I'm still not happy with them.
Absolute favorite thing is the perspective warp tool. Because that's what I did with the sketchbook, is I just drew it and then I perspective warped it. But yeah.
Well, that would have been,
sorry. I don't know if it would have worked with your boxes.
Probably not. Because I thought about it. I remember I thought about it and I was like, okay, I don't know how to use that. And like being able to do 2.5D.
Yeah.
Is really nice. So
what you probably could have done is like you design one side of the box and then warp it this way, and then you design the other side of the box and you warp it this way. But that might have been more work than just designing it. So
yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like you have to make sure that like each of the angles is exact and each of like the sizes, and it's just more work than those 4 boxes look. But yeah, so I'm also about to be working on the money, which I'm not excited for, because I want there to be like a fan of money, and then like he hands it to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to decide if there's going to be a character in it and all this stuff. So
yeah,
I'm just kind of designing the basic assets that I know I'm going to use, and then coming up with the story as I go. Which I'll come up with the story before I start actually animating. But
good.
Okay, what about you?
Important.
Yeah,
well, this is actually good, because as I'm sitting here and we're talking about it, I'm remembering like all the projects that I've been wanting to work on. So yeah, it's good to talk about things. I think for the next 48, I am going to solidify this logo, and then we talked about a really cute animation that I could do that would replace the lava animation. But it would tie in better, I think. So we'll probably work on that. And then I need to so there's 2 projects that I've been wanting to work on.
Is it the animations?
That's one of them, is the logos that animate. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the little shadow guy.
Oh,
when we first started.
Right.
The whole reason that you were doing the shape tween video.
Yeah, the thing that made me do the shape tween thing. Right. Oh, I forgot about that. It's been snowballing.
Okay, sorry.
Jumping. Like, that was the reason I did the shape between videos, was to remember how to do it.
Yep.
And wow. All right. Maybe I'll do that then. I have so many things I could work on.
Your objective is to decide on a project.
Yes, because I have that animation from like a month ago. I've been wanting to do a series of animated logos. Like, have you seen, there's this one travel app I use called Hopper, and their little logo is a little rabbit. And so their loading page for when it's searching for flights is it's this little rabbit that's like running. And like all it's really doing is it's an app, so you can't pull up the website, but it like,
logo.
it's just a little rabbit. Yeah, we could probably pull it up. But all it does is it like pinches, and then so its little legs like come together and go apart. So it's a really simple animation, but it's a really cute like loading thing. So I've been wanting to do things like that, or and this is something I haven't really talked about on here, but I recently found out that I have something called vitiligo, which you can kind of see it like on my chest down here. My skin is starting to lose pigment in places, and it's like something that I've like been having a really hard time dealing with, because like, yeah, we won't go into all of my like self doubt and stuff, but it's like something I'm really struggling with. What?
I said mental health week.
Yeah, we'll get there. But I have been wanting to do a series of like portrait illustrations of people with vitiligo. So yeah.
Well, I had no idea about that.
Wait, what?
I had no idea about that.
Yeah. I've been like thinking about either like remaking famous movie posters so that the people have vitiligo, and kind of making a commentary about representation. Because like the only time I've ever seen people with vitiligo in like TV shows or anything is like on America's Next Top Model. That one model had something similar. I don't know if she had it or not, but yeah, I will decide on it. That is my thing for the next 48, is I'm going to decide which project I'm going to work on. So
okay. And then Salzar Art Nation kind of was just talking about what he's been up to. He's saying he is working on a series of videos for a client, and also working on 2 other logos. So he's staying busy.
Yeah, nice.
So, yes. So our topic today is one that I am quite excited for. And I feel like I say that a lot, but this one is one that has been advised to me by Corey Kerr. I don't know if he'll remember giving me this advice, but he did. And basically, it's about filling your sketchbook. And he gave me this advice over the summer while I was doing my 24 days of something. And I just sent him an email, and I was like, hey, I don't know if you're going to respond to this. I don't know if you're going to see it, but I need advice because I hate a lot of what I'm sketching right now, and like a lot of what I have planned out. And he basically sent this email back, and I wish I had read it before I started talking about it, because I can't remember a lot of what it said. But basically it was along the lines of like, you need to keep on filling your sketchbook, because like not every idea is going to be a good idea, but you're going to get at least some good ideas from it, you know, and you need to get everything out of your head and down on paper, instead of just like keeping it in your head until you're like, oh, okay, this is a good idea, let me do that. And so I've been kind of like trying to fill my sketchbook, and trying to like, I bought this sketchbook like middle of winter semester. So for those of you that don't know, because we have a weird track, it's like February. And like, this is how many sketchbook pages I filled. Like, I'm about halfway through. And I'd say that most of that is from like these past few months. And I mean, I also just like looking through my sketchbook and being like, oh, that's where like my thought process was for this, or like, and there's like one page with like one drawing on it, and I need to, go back. But like, I kind of segregate out my pages and all this stuff, and like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just nice. This is where the web hosting animation started. Nothing near what it's at right now.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I like the concept of filling your sketchbook. I thoroughly enjoy it. I hated it before I took vector graphics. I hated sketching and I thought it was dumb. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm pretty sure I've told Professor Kerr that. I was like, I hated sketching and I thought it was dumb. And when you were having us do it, I didn't understand why. But now I honestly don't think I could design without sketching.
Yeah.
And I don't know. This is more of just like a discussion. I have not really spoken to you about this at all, so I think it's kind of interesting. This is one of those times where you're hearing my opinion on it for the first time. I'm going to be hearing yours, which hopefully will spark a discussion. I feel like we're going to probably be similar to the same page.
Yeah.
At least that it's on the good side.
Yeah. No, I hate sketching. No, I'm kidding.
The professors come after you in the comments. You were in college.
I have never sketched. No, I won't say that.
But sorry. I was like thinking about one of them like saying something to me like they watched the art check, which like they like if they did, I doubt they would say anything.
Yeah.
I know that some of them have. Anyways, I also like it because like before this, when we first started, I was like, man, I cannot sketch at all. Like I have no sketching ability.
Mm-hmm.
And then like today I drew this little guy, not the stick figure.
Cute.
This one.
Yeah.
Like I don't have much of a sketching ability, but because I've been filling my sketchbook and like kind of learning, and I started to draw like a Spider-Man mask at one point, like just doing random stuff to kind of fill my sketchbook.
Yeah.
It helped in my confidence too of like showing my sketches and like being able to pitch my ideas and narrowing down my ideas. Anyways, that's a really long introduction. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
But what do you think about this topic?
Yeah, so
about this.
Sorry, what was that?
I said in the comments.
Oh,
what are people about this?
So one of the things that you briefly touched on that I want to go back to is the concept of like getting all of your ideas out, because you can't tell what's good until it's down on paper. I don't have my sketchbook near me right now, but when I was doing the what's it called? The logo that I just showed, I had a couple different ideas, and honestly, the one that I settled on, this sketchbook idea, was not like, I didn't think that one was going to be my best idea, but it wasn't until I sketched out that I realized, okay, these ideas won't work. And that's what led me to work on that one. The other thing that I really like about sketching is I feel like my designs end up being more of what I thought they would look like in my head if I sketch them out first. Because if I just hop straight into the program and I'm like trying to figure it out, it doesn't really look how it's supposed to. And one of the things that, oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm gonna lock my puppies out of this room right now.
The most chaotic middle of art check that we've ever had.
I wanted to see if they could handle being in here during the art check.
Did you hear the car alarm?
Yeah, it's their car alarm. They heard it, and all right. Anyways,
back to the topic.
Yes. So, it ends up so the watch project is what I always think of. Where Professor Kerr talks about like breaking up symbols in your brain. So like when you draw a bush, and he talked about this when we had him on last week, but like it can either be like this little cloud bush thing, but that's not really what a bush looks like. Yeah. And like you can try and draw a watch, but that's not really what a watch looks like. And so it's until you draw it over and over and over again, and you're looking at examples and you're going, okay, well, it's not, a dial isn't actually like just a square off of it. It's kind of like a cylinder, and it's got these highlights and it's got these ridges. And until you like look at something and you draw it that many times, you can't design it that way. Like it's really hard to just hop straight into the program and figure that out. So sketching for me is, well, it's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's a way to nail down what it should look like before I hop into the program. And then when I'm struggling in the program to get it to look like how I want it to look, I can always revert back to those. And I often like will take a picture of the sketch and put it on my artboard, like right next to where I'm designing, so I can look at it for a reference and try and figure out like where I'm heading. So
yeah. Sorry, as you're talking, I'm totally listening, but like it's just also causing me to kind of look at my sketchbook. And I think that the watch project is honestly what got me to take sketching seriously. Because I mean, you saw that. So the way that he teaches a class is you're required to have, I guess, 25 sketches because I numbered them. And and like, I did not take sketching seriously until this point, but like I actually went through like, oh geez Louise. Like these little circles are like representing gradients. I didn't even wind up doing this watch or this clock. I switched it. But then also like, where is it? Like I just went back to kind of, here's the watch. Oh my goodness gracious. I cannot do my left and rights on this. I know my left and rights, but it confuses me on this video.
Yeah.
But like there's like the watch bands and stuff like that. And I don't know. I mean, I totally like know what you're talking. Like, I totally bring my stuff into Illustrator and then plant it and right there, put a lock on it so I can trace over it and just try to figure everything out. And I don't know. I have become such a fan of sketching because of it. My head is going in like 3 different directions right now because I have like 3 different things I want to talk about. So I have to decide one, but really quick, I feel like this one isn't going to cause a long side tangent. And I kind of mentioned this earlier, but I like looking back on it and saying and seeing stuff that I thought of and then stuff that I want to design that I had previously thought of. Like this little guy, this little box guy.
Oh yeah.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
I never made him, but he's just like, and just stuff like that. But also looking through my sketchbook, like as an animator, storyboards.
Yeah.
This is where,
like, even storyboard, like I feel like that's almost a separate thing, but storyboards are so important.
Yeah, and like here's why I'm bringing it into sketchbooks is because like I feel like it ties in because you can fill your sketchbook as a graphic designer, you can fill your sketchbook as an illustrator. You can also fill your sketchbook as an animator though. Like here, this was my very, very first animation and I hate it, but it's okay. I think the idea was cute. But like here's the eye open, here's the eye closed. Like I never would have thought, oh yeah, I should draw out that the eye closed is a line, but I did, you know, and I put like his mouth is a circle when he's whistling and just all this stuff. And like, I mean, my animation started off as a sticker sketch.
Really?
That is the very first thought process for my animation. It was simply a sticker. And it had a bunch of different social media apps in it, and it was just going to be a 3-inch sticker that you could stick somewhere. And then I kind of got a little bit more into it and just sketched this little like CPU chip, and I was like, ooh, like I can make that light up. And then next thing you know, like here's the storyboard for it on the exact opposite page.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if you look at it, that is not at all what it looks like.
Yeah.
Like there's still some similar aspects, but like that's not what it looks like anymore. And bringing in like storyboards and like your sketchbook and filling your sketchbook and everything, I don't know if other people do this, but I take notes in my sketchbook too. Like if I have, so this probably wouldn't make much sense to other people, but this was going into Professor Kerr's office and saying, hey, I want to make a little glowing thing move. I just want to make it move and glow. And he just like told me a bunch of stuff and I just wrote it down in the sketchbook. And now every time that I went to the storyboard, I would have those notes. And like, I feel like that's important too, is that you can fill your sketchbook with notes about the sketches.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. And this is also why I'm just like curious to hear your side. Oh my gosh, I have a blank page in here. Gotta fill it. Anyways, but like I'm just curious, you know, more about your thoughts. I just keep on bringing up new points. So
no, you're good. I definitely, I mean, to me, it depends on the notes that I am taking. But yeah, and I go back and forth on this because I like to sketch on non-lined paper, but I like to take notes on lined paper. I don't know what it is, but if it's notes about like animation or even like it's fun to me because I write down like little one-liners that teachers say in the sketchbooks. So like it might not even be about the subject that we're talking about, but it's something that really resonated with me. I specifically remember one, like it was like on the second or third day of class. Actually, I think it was on the first day of advanced visual media last semester. Professor Kerr said something along the lines of, mean is not what you say, it's a degree of no. Oh, come on. It was something about how like it's not what you say, it's a degree of how you say it.
That sounds like something you would say.
Right? And like that really resonated with me because I think that, and this is kind of a side tangent, but like I think that people get confused sometimes when you're trying to give them on both ends. When you're trying to give critiques, people can get offended that you're like critiquing them. But then also at the same time, people can be like overly harsh in their critiques. Like they're saying good things, but they don't have to be saying it like that.
Yes. Which is like a different topic.
Yeah, we're going to get onto that. But anyways, back to taking notes in sketchbooks. Because I like, to me, like being a very visual person, when I write notes down with my sketches, even if it like has nothing to do with the sketches that are in there, it helps it stick more because it's with visual things. And so I write down the little one-liners and like the this is how you do this thing in After Effects. I write those down in my sketchbooks because those are things that I really want to remember.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I like it. Ooh. Sorry, I was looking at because Salazar's commenting along with us.
Yeah.
And he was talking about possible logo designs. And just putting down random drawings, and it got me thinking because as I was flipping through, I saw my logo sketches. And before I like, my sketchbook goes with me everywhere now, like absolutely everywhere. It's always in my backpack. And when it's not in my backpack, I always regret it. But I was thinking about like logos, right? And I feel like some people think, and I thought this at first too, so I'm not just like randomly throwing people out there under the bus or anything, but my thought process was like, oh, I know what I want my logo to look like. Like these are my first logo sketches.
Yeah.
And then it switched into like this. And like, I just feel like also sketching is just like such a place for you to grow.
Yeah.
And like, I totally understand what you're saying too with like taking notes like in your sketchbook because that's where it like visually is. And I like it too because not only if when I'm taking notes, but when me and one of the professors are discussing a sketch, like I remember it because I'm typically like editing the sketch as we're talking, like adding to it or something or circling it or anything like that. And so I don't know, I find sketching to be like, I guess, an effective note-taking skill.
Yeah.
But
so I don't know what you said just then that triggered this in my brain, but just it made me think of doing word maps when we did the gig poster project, of like having that list of words of things that you want. And it kind of like reminded me that I kind of do this when I am trying to like include symbolism. But just having that list of like what you want the piece to look like and feel like and what emotions you want from it and what your inspiration is pulling from. When you have that list of words along with your sketches, it makes it a lot easier to I guess to include the things that you want to make sure that you include, because I think it's really easy when you go through the design process to forget something. And so when you have it written right next to the sketches, it's a lot easier to go, okay, I wanted to do this thing because this is what it means. And yeah. I hope that makes sense.
This topic is great because we don't disagree. We just have so many different subtopics to go off of with it. So I like this because this is a different type of art check than one that we've really done before.
Yeah.
But I just filling your sketchbook has like so many different benefits, and it's just crazy to me, like thinking about the fact that I didn't sketch for almost my first year of designing. From April to February-ish, I didn't take sketching seriously. And like my stuff could have been so much better, like so much better if I had just sketched.
Yeah.
And I just think it's absolutely insane to me to think, like, I sketched out my cover, what is it called? My style guide. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm just like preaching now and just being like, please go get a sketchbook and please it. But I don't know, because I also have my iPad. And I do switch back and forth between my iPad. Like, I don't know. Well, you said that you've been using an iPad too.
I want to. I'm not quite using it yet. Mostly because I found out that the tablet that's like been hanging out in the office is actually a Samsung. So got to figure out how to use that. Right. Yeah. No.
I had a Samsung tablet. It was not great.
Yeah.
But I switched back and forth between the iPad and my sketchbook. And like, I'm one of those people where like, I can't really decide, but like, I don't think that I could live without my sketchbook. I think that I could live without sketching on the iPad.
Yeah.
But what I do like, and this is just a question, when you sketch, because Professor Rognan brought this up, and this is just like a question, and then I'm going to like lead off of it and then have you kind of elaborate, if that's okay.
Yeah.
When you sketch, do you color it?
No.
Okay. So in class, I'm totally going to butcher this, and I'm so sorry, Professor Rognan. I can't remember half of the words that he used, but I remember the concept. So basically, he talked about this in 462, which is the capstone class for anybody that is joining us randomly. And you haven't heard us talk about it before, but he was talking about like how sketches are like thought out. This is, you bring in your sketch and all you have to do is just adapt it a little bit and vectorize it. I thought it was crazy. But he was like, there's two different types of sketching, and he called one of them like some type of like, I don't even think he called it a sketch. He said something else about it. But, and I agree with it. Once I heard him talking about it, I'm going to ask him to re-explain it to me, so this way I can come back on here and not sound crazy.
You proved me wrong.
He will prove you wrong. If we have him on here, like we need to have him on here for social media week and then to talk about sketching because he blew my mind with this. But basically, he was like, and I felt so bad because I've definitely turned this in for his class, but he like drew a box on the board and he put like a stick figure in a tree and he was like, this is somebody that's sketching out like their photo. Like, this is not a sketch. This is like a random like thought thing that you like. The human is the size of the tree. That's definitely not how the photo is going to look. And like kind of went on about that and then pulled out his iPad and like he has an iPad Pro. They all do. And or maybe it's not an iPad Pro, but like the big iPads that like use the Apple pens.
Yeah.
So he like flips it around and he has like this colored in, shaded, completely drawn through, thought out little monster sketch. And he's like, this is what a sketch looks like. And he's like kind of redefining like what his sketching expectations are for 462. And like just hearing him talk about it was like kind of eye-opening to me. So I was like, okay, I do my sketches and sometimes like I wish I had markers with me or something like that because I would like to add color, but all of my sketches are just gray and white and just like that, which I think has become a hindrance for me because I never know what colors I'm using until I'm using them in Illustrator. And since that, I always stick to blues. Like blues and yellows and like a brighter red and like a more obvious green and kind of purples and stuff.
Yeah.
Because one, I can't see some of the colors correctly once it gets into dark screens and dark reds. Like I'm colorblind, but not heavily colorblind. Like just like there's one specific part of the spectrum that just messes me up. I cannot get past it. But it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like if I was sketching with color or like like doing colors in it and all of this stuff, it would help so much because when I get into Illustrator, I can just apply the colors. I can eyedrop them. You know? Okay. You disagree?
Yes.
Okay.
First of all, I just disagree because the eyedrop tool is terrible and like, will give you the most ugly, saturated, not true color that you just picked.
Okay, that's fair.
Like you can zoom in and get one individual pixel, but it doesn't even, because the color that you're like trying to mimic, when you take a picture of it, it could be like 24 different pixels that make up this one blob of color. And so you go in and you color pick and you just get one pixel that doesn't really show the whole color that you're going for. Mostly that's just a rant on the eyedropper tool because I hate it and it's the worst.
I thought we were done ranting about Adobe.
Sorry, what was that?
I thought we were done ranting about Adobe so we could get hired by them one day.
I've given up. They won't hire me.
Side note, they have started to change the tools to actually like have the same keyboard shortcuts.
Are they really?
They were.
They've watched it and they're like, these girls are on it.
It was like one tool and it stood out to me and I was like, I need to mention this on Art Check, and it was weeks ago and I forgot until right now.
Yeah.
But anyways, continue. Your rant.
It'll get you near to the color that you want, but it won't get like, you'll still have to mess with the color to get the color that you want. So to me, it's almost pointless. Like it's like you can just, yeah. I don't know. To me, and this is just for me personally, and I don't know, maybe people feel this way, but I feel like I understand the design a lot more once I get it into the program. Like I can sketch and fill 4 pages on an idea, but until I get into Adobe and I really start hashing some of the stuff out, I can't even like start to think about color to me. Like that's why I don't sketch it, because like every time that I've sketched, I still end up with like 3 or 4 directions that like can still work. but I haven't decided on them yet. And it's not until I get into the program that I really can find a direction. And I feel like if I spent time on color, I don't know. That just, maybe I'll have to try it. I won't, because I love Professor Rognan and I believe that he does.
They all have,
Probably knows more than me, I'll admit to that. So I'll try it, but I feel like putting thought into color is like skipping way ahead, because like I kind of what you saw with our little logo, I start out designing in grayscale just so I can figure out how the values should relate to each other and then convert into color. And so I think thinking about color that early is really weird for me.
that makes sense.
Yeah. But it's also because I put a ton of thought into the color of everything. So
I don't. And so like when he was showing that, it was kind of a wake up call to me. And I would like to try using color, because I mean, even you can see I just used a blue pen to signify like blue hat. The hat has to be blue.
Yeah.
On my little sketch guys. But when I said eyedropper tool, I was kind of over exaggerating because I know exactly what you're talking about. But like I just meant like you can see the colors next to each other and pretty close figure out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm definitely gonna start to use color in my sketchbook. But that's also just because like I don't know, thinking in black and white is kind of hard for me. But also on the flip side, if I hop into Illustrator and I have no idea what colors I'm using, I get confused. Like I have no clue what I'm doing. And like some of them are easy because like I did my Captain America and Iron Man sticker, which is one of my favorite stickers that I have ever made, like one of my favorite things.
Mm-hmm.
And like obviously that was super easy. It was red and blue. But there are 3 different types of blue in that sticker. And like I had to choose the exact right blue to make it kind of look kind of 3D-ish, but not super 3D, but kind of like it's lighting up. I don't know if you can remember the sticker, but it has the arc reactor. And that's kind of what I'm referring
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I definitely am going to try it because like also just looking at his sketch and seeing that and go, and it just kind of was an eye opener to me, because even just like if you're not putting in the color, like the detail in his sketch without the color was still like that's what a sketch should be, and I'm not doing that at all. Like I'm nowhere near. And I like to think that I do sketch and I try to take it seriously, but like I've never done that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The professors are crazy in a good way. Like I just wish I was at their skill level and their knowledge level, where like I could be sitting here like, oh yeah, of course I sketch with color. And like he did it on the iPad too, so like he like had all the access to all the different colors and stuff.
That's what I was about to say, is the other thing that, because you only have so many colored pencils, but there's like a million different
shades on your iPad.
And in Adobe. So
yeah, I don't think he was I don't know what he was using. Maybe he was using Photoshop. I don't know. I will ask him. But I don't know. It's one of the reasons why I do kind of want to start using my iPad more.
Yeah.
Because I like having the color options, and I use it for my Jekyll and Hyde sticker, and my Jekyll and Hyde sticker completely switched, as everybody saw. It completely switched, but the green and the red or whatever, I can't remember what that sticker looks like. Everybody loves that sticker, and I love that sticker too, but I can't tell you what it looks like right now. But the colors were thought out in my sketch. And like I remember I showed it to one of the people that I was living with the guy that baptized me, his wife, I showed it to her, and I basically flipped on different colors, and I said, here's green, here's red. And I just kind of flipped them. And I was like, okay, which one do you like? And she chose one, and I think it was red. Oh, I hope it was red. That's so bad. I don't know my design. Maybe it's green. I don't know. But like she chose one, and that's kind of the one that I went with. And so just having that option too of like flipping the color on and off and being like, here's, choose one. Do you like this? You know, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of benefits to color, and I'm saying it as somebody who doesn't color their sketches. A wake-up call to myself.
Yeah. I think I was getting caught up in the wrong thing, because I do agree that your sketches should be really detailed and you should have just about everything like planned out.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't think I can get that far with color. Yeah.
You also start off in grayscale though, which is something different than what a lot of people do from my experience.
And I think that the reason I do that is because when I sketch, it kind of already is in grayscale. Like it's like the creamish whitish color with like a pencil background. Or actually, depending on what I'm sketching, I sometimes sketch in pen, because I have this really nice pen. That's really, yeah, I enjoy it. Sometimes like the micron pen, they like can capture different things that a pencil can, and yeah, it depends.
I'm joking. I've sketched in pen before. I don't like it because of the permanence.
Yeah. That's why you get one of the thin ones, and you got to go really lightly.
That's fair. Sorry. I'm flipping up on my phone. Yeah, I don't know. If I got more confident in my sketches, I would like to do that. But also, I'm leading up to possibly a comic in my sketches.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because I would really, really, really like to do a comic.
Yeah.
I love superheroes so much, and comics, like, I don't like saying I don't have the money for comics, but I don't have the money for really anything right now, and so I don't have the money for comics. But I would like to get some comics, and when I started watching Professor Kerr's YouTube videos, he does it with Joshua Kemble, who is creating a comic called Quarterly Stories. And when you check out his stuff, it's awesome. And I follow his Instagram page, and like I see like the step-by-step of like the stuff he's creating. And then he does something called Artcasters with Scott Circland, who is sometimes on the 48-hour art check. But they talk about comics a lot. And so I follow Scott Circland as well, who has like a comic maker toolkit. I can't talk today. A comic maker's toolkit.
There you go. Got it.
Like
yeah.
That. But he makes that, and like I don't know, it's just gotten me so intrigued by comics and the thought of like drawing it and kind of having that and like inking and all of this stuff. And so that also kind of got me just, I guess, thinking about it and wanting to talk about sketches and all this stuff, because like I don't know, are you good?
Yeah. I'm sorry, it's my dog.
You're okay. You're just like looking up.
Yeah, keep going.
You're good. But it's just like the thought process that I've always had is like I can't sketch at all. Yeah. But like I want to do a comic. Well, comics are typically drawn. Like that's what comics are. And so kind of gotten me in the thought process of also like I want to do this. And the reason that I'm bringing up the fact that I want to do a comic is not just like to like put this out there because I want it or whatnot, but because I feel like that's something that's awesome that comes from filling your sketchbook. Mm-hmm. Is that you gain confidence in an area that you didn't before. And that doesn't necessarily have to be sketching. It can be your design ability, your watercolor ability, your like color picking, just anything that like you think you're not great at, by sketching and doing practicing that aspect of it in your sketchbook, it kind of pushes you towards things that you never would have thought of before.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I think that it's important to sketch because it's also just opening new doors that you never would have thought of beforehand. And again, that doesn't necessarily have to be comics. Like, you can sketch out an image that you want to take. You can sketch out a picture that you want to take, and you can spend your time and sketch it and figure that out. So this way, when you get your camera in your hands, you know exactly what you're looking for. Like, I don't know. I just think that my mind has been changed a lot about sketching recently, and I have had new ideas in my head because of it. I don't know. I think it's important.
Yeah.
I just keep on going on side things about it. But what are you thinking?
No, you're good. I was thinking when you were talking about how you want to do a comic book, but you're not that good and you don't know, like, all of that. It just reminded me of our animation project that we just did. And the whole time I was saying, well, I can't animate, so I can't do that because I'm not good at that. And then you just got to do it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm like trying to get at with the filling your sketchbook thing. I guess this is kind of a good, like, to start wrapping it.
Well, it's a stepping stone. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. My dog has been like scratching at the door and she just busted it open a little bit, but not all. Yep, here she comes. All right. Anyways,
You good?
I was just gonna. Oh man, what was I saying? Oh, that it's a good stepping stone of like you're sitting there saying, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this, but I want to do it. Sketching is a good place to start.
Hello, dog. Yeah. And just kind of like, I guess, coming into closing thoughts, because we've been going for 57 minutes.
Yep.
We try to keep it pretty close to an hour. Try not to go over too much. I think the longest we've gone over is with Professor Kerr.
Yeah.
And that was totally worth it.
No, one of our early ones was pretty.
Oh, yes. But we also spent like 30 minutes in the first three questions.
That's true.
Which I don't know if anybody that's been watching has noticed, but we've gotten a lot better.
Yeah. We figured it out.
We figured it out. We're just kind of closing thoughts. Oh my goodness. As soon as I say closing thoughts, my mind blanked. Sketching is such a great tool to get your ideas out of your head and actually see them. And it opens your eyes to a lot of new things that you never thought you could have done before.
Yeah.
If not being able to sketch is what's holding you back, don't let that hold you back anymore, because I could not sketch anything at all before I took vector graphics. I did not care enough to sketch, to dedicate myself to sketching. And saying, also really quick side tangent, saying that you can't sketch is a lie.
Yeah.
Because you can sketch. You just may not be, you may not be able to say that you are skilled in sketching and drawing, but everybody can sketch. If you can pick up a pencil, you can sketch.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, saying that you can't do it or that you're not skilled enough to do it is kind of a crutch and a hindrance.
Yeah.
That like you just kind of need to jump in and start sketching, and then you will see stuff grow. Like, you will see your ability grow just as you flip through your sketchbook, and you'll see your project opportunities grow. You know, I showed examples of storyboarding and animation. Never would have thought of an animation, but because I was sketching, I came up with a sticker idea that became an animation. You know, I sketched my 24 days of something, and it was kind of not good, so I'm not going to show that because I wish I could redo that whole thing. And actually, I've thought it out more, but like not sketching, once you're used to it, also just kind of becomes a hindrance. And so that's like a lot for closing thoughts, but there's a lot that I want to get across in this message.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about this. And once Professor Kerr told it to me, I just kind of became passionate about it and just have like been trying every day to try to fill my sketchbook.
Yeah.
Anyways, so there's like my jumbled up closing thoughts. What about you?
Yeah, just that it's so important to help you figure out what design is going to be successful. It's so helpful to narrow down because it changes a lot. It affects a lot when you put down the ideas on paper, and you can start to see what it'll actually look like and work like. And just something we kind of touched on is that it takes more effort than just drawing like a tree and a stick figure. Like if you're doing it correctly, then it'll have a lot more detail and it'll help you. It's not just a step that you have to do before you design. It's to help you figure out what you're doing. So yeah.
Sorry, I am replying to
You are totally fine
right now. Anyways, but I messed up. It's not Comic Maker's Toolkit, it's Comic Maker Toolkit. So just in case anybody, because Salazar Art commented it and he said the Comic Maker Toolkit is great. And I was like, oh, well, I need to do my research on it before I start talking about it. Anyways, and then just one last thing that I just thought was cool that Salazar was said, is he was talking about how he bought small sketchbooks at the dollar store to hand out to people. I don't know. I think that would be cool. I'm gonna pitch it to the professors.
Yeah.
For something for Visual Society, maybe.
That'd be fun.
It would be. I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, quick like ending thingy-majigger. Our topic was filling your sketchbook, and thank you to Salazar Art Nation for joining us in the chats. It's so fun to have you in the chats. If you want to see Kaitlin's stuff, go to @KaitlinSpirations. That is her Instagram handle. She also has her website and all of her information in the description down below.
Yep.
As well as a link to her YouTube channel, which you should go subscribe to so you can join us live on Wednesdays and every other Fridays. Fridays, by the way, just an announcement, are not planned for. We're not planning on doing Fridays, but if we're both available on Fridays, we will hop on and do it.
Yeah.
But our schedules don't quite work for every single Friday. And so Fridays will kind of be a bonus episode if we wind up doing a Friday. And then if you want to check out my stuff, go to diuguidvisualcomms and follow me, and you get updates on 48-hour art checks when I remember to post them. Today I did not. So thank you, Salazar, for still joining us because I forgot to post it on my Instagram. But I don't know. We have a bunch of fun on my Instagram story. We have fun on my Instagram story. So just check it out. Check out my artwork. I love getting comments and feedbacks and followers, obviously.
Yeah.
The Comic Maker Toolkit is something by Scott Cirkland, and I don't have much information on his website or anything, but if you look him up and you look up Comic Maker Toolkit, I bet that you can find it. So that is everything. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you all on Wednesday.
All right. Bye.
Bye.